NCCU, your community financial partner, brings to you Beyond the Mortgage.
Affordable rates, affordable price, NCCU, everything nice. Go do a course, go take a trip. Beyond the Mortgage 246. You take the mortgage already, don't make your pocket go empty. Beyond the Mortgage, NCCU will keep you steady. You need to buy a new fridge, you want to purchase a city. Get rid of medical bills and invest in the green energy. Beyond the Mortgage, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage. Everything nice, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage. NCCU for life. 246, yes, 246. Wow, 246.
Beyond the Mortgage, 2% savings, 4% retirement solutions, loans available at 6%, and our special BTM line of credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello. Good afternoon, good day, good evening somewhere. It's evening somewhere. Good morning. It's morning somewhere. Welcome to another show. Good day and welcome to another show. I know normally this is not the norm for me to be popping up. Normally when I pop up at this time, I'm reviewing something, right? Normally when I pop up in the afternoon, it's to review a music video, it's to review an event. Usually we save or we reserve the evenings for exclusive interviews, but we gotta pack it. It's one of those days where we're booked and busy. And I am so excited to be joining you guys here for another show. Thank you very much to all those of you who are connected, who are tuned in, who are connected, who are now coming on. Those of you on Facebook, those of you on YouTube. I want to say good evening or good day to those of you who are on LinkedIn. Welcome to the show. This is Exclusive Interviews. I'm your host, Jael Joseph, and I'm so excited. I mean, where were you last evening? Like, I was on pins, needles, and everything else, right? Because I feel like I've known this person for my whole life, right? Or for their whole life at least. And I was so excited. You know, a friend obviously recorded the just Carsim segment and sent it to me, and I was just like, yes. Like, how many of you cried? If you cried last night, put up your hands and let me know that you cried last night, because I was crying to the point where coal came from my nose. Yes, I was like crying, like somebody do me something, like they are just like, it was so emotional. It was so grandeur. It was so many things, you know, so many things were going through my mind, you know. If you were on last evening, or if you saw somebody said she's still crying, yeah, still crying, Jael. Yes, still crying. Lexi said I cry like a baby. I tell you, I was in tears. I've known Carsim since before 2013. I've known him for quite some time because I happened to be the coordinator and co-producer during Q Talent Search in Dominica, the under 16 Q Talent Search, which Carsim called into, and he would eventually go on to win the competition. And I fell in love with him as a kid. I fell in love with his mom. I got to know I know his whole family, right? I used to go down to Soufriere. You know, they have their little business by the bay. And his mom, as a matter of fact, just last week, his auntie gave me her reserved parking spot for me to park. So that's how good I'm in Carsim's books, right? Carsim shaking his head. Carsim shaking his head. And I'm telling you, Gemma is his aunt is on the live right now. Show how much I'm not lying. She said she's pulled up by a river right about now, and she's locked in. And I mean, I have seen this kid grow And I say kid because when I knew him, he was a kid. Now he's a big man with big voice. That was actually one of my fears because he sang so well when he was a kid. I was like, boy, when puberty, I don't know if Carsim remember when we had that conversation. When puberty kicks in, Carsim, your voice might change and it might not change for the better. It might become a little bit worse or it might become different. And his voice changed and he's even more amazing than he was as a child. And I want to hush my mouth now because I want to bring on Carsim. Let us bring on Carsim Birmingham for the first time. And this is actually his second interview that he's doing. He did another interview earlier, but since receiving his golden buzzer performance at Canada's Got Talent, let's welcome to the show, Carsim. Hi, Carsim!
Hi!
How are you, darling?
I am so blessed right now. I'm excited. I'm just feeling so full. Yes.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Jael. It means the world to me. Coming from you.
Kasim, like you just blow us away there. You just like blow us away.
Thank
Like,
you.
like
Thank
Colin XP would say, I wasn't ready.
you.
Oh my God. Okay. First of all, I know people probably are wondering who you are because people don't really know you, except we just suddenly started sharing things, recently that you were participating in Canada's Got Talent. And everybody was just like, oh, Casimo. And people will probably recall you from being on Q Talent Search. I know you also sang with various groups, in Dominica. So just give people a little brief about who's your people? Where you from?
Yeah. I am from Soufriere. Oh, I like to say that I'm from Kashaku because it's I'm from the south side. I'm from Soufriere. I'm 24. I am very how should I say? I'm very charismatic for the people who know me. I'm very convivial in the way that I interact with people. I have so many things that I can say about me because I'm super diverse in the way that I'm talented. Like I feel like I can do so much. And for the people who are getting to know me now, I can just say that I am a talent powerhouse. I think I like to say I'm talented. I am so passionate about a lot of things in academia, in music, in language and history. I am just everything.
In cuisine,
In
baking.
cuisine, yes, in food too. I'm a food lover because I'm coming from a catering family. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. How could you leave that out?
I know.
Like a baker boss too. Like how you can't leave that out. Kasim, how did you feel when you got that golden buzzer? Like what? Because we saw what we saw, right? But cameras, they change things,
Exactly.
they edit things after because obviously, which we'll talk a little bit about
Yeah.
in a little bit. Obviously, the show is taped, it's recorded, and then it has to air on national TV after, and it aired on City TV. So I want to big up, your publicist, Erin and Bridget, and the team for really organizing this and letting this happen so quickly because it was just like boom, boom.
Yeah.
Let's get this going, and it was really super cool and easy. But how did you feel?
I felt during the golden buzzer moment like I was dreaming. I felt like it was an out of body experience. I felt like I was on stage, but my l'esprit, or we would say my mind, was not actually on the stage with me. It's almost as if when I saw everything falling down, it was as if I was looking at myself from the outside. And I just remember in that moment telling myself, Kasim, everyone who has always loved you and supported you, they're all around you. And just immerse yourself in the experience because it is so fulfilling. And that's what I remember telling myself because it was like a dream.
Wow. Wow. I mean, it felt so I saw the previews, obviously the ads, promoting that you were going to be on the show and all of that. And, I spoke to your auntie and whatnot. And I was just like, I didn't want to, because I mean, I know show business. That's what I studied, right? So for me, it was like the fact that they're highlighting him like that, something big happened during that time. So I purposely, remember I never said anything to you. I was like, tight lip. I didn't want to say anything. I felt like if I had said anything, and you would have felt compelled to almost tell me.
Mhm.
Um, so I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna say anything to you. I'm just gonna keep it tight lip and wait for everything to premiere. And
Yeah.
it's just going to be. And I didn't start hounding you until until the premiere. I was just like, okay, it's done now, and we can move on. But it was very very. I mean, I was my jaw dropped. You know, I
Thank you.
knew you were gonna do something amazing on the show, but I didn't think you were gonna get the golden buzzer. I mean, not that I'm saying that I didn't think you get it because I didn't think you were talented. Not that. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying it in the sense of like I didn't expect that. You know, I expected something grand, but I just didn't expect that. And it was just like, wow. Like I started crying and I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe my little castle, my
Yeah.
little
Even I was trying to, I was rewatching it, even though I'd already lived the experience. I felt like when I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, it felt even more dreamy than I ever perceived that it would be.
wow. I want to go back a little bit before we talk a little bit about the show and how you got on the show and everything. You've been singing since you were a kid, like since you were very very small. I mentioned in the intro that you called in to Q Talent Search under 16 back in 2012. It must have been, and you ended up emerging the winner. You know, you won on that show, and you know I got to see you. I mean, you were with coaches like Simeon Joseph. You know, big up to Simeon one time. You know, we got to see you like really blossom and bloom. You know, on stage. What
Yeah.
was that like? You know, growing up and knowing that you had such an amazing voice and you had so much talent. Because one of the things I noticed that you said, you know, you felt like a mahogany in a tiny garden.
Yeah.
You know, tell us a little bit about, you know, growing up
Of
and
course.
being,
Thank
yeah,
you.
go ahead.
So I think growing up, I always knew that I was predestined for something. And I always knew that it was something that it almost gave me like a tingling sensation whenever I would speak about it. I think maybe to my mom. I didn't know exactly what I was going to be. I just knew that it was going to be something that I was going to be completely and authentically myself and truly immersed in that. Because I think a lot of people do things that, you know, to get by, but it's not something that they're really, really in love with doing. And I think
Mhm.
growing up, I had a big inkling to music and the sound, and I would see myself replaying songs over and over to make sure like I hear it right, or I get the sensation or the goosebumps that I would listen for music over and over. And I knew that I was almost like stimming from music and what it made me feel. And I felt like when I had the opportunity in Dominica, like at 12 years old, calling on the QTS using my grandmother's Nokia phone at that time to call, and I was just enveloped in the idea that I was going to initiate something that I think I don't have the ability to go back on. Once I begin it, it's just continue and keep your head up and just be just incredibly humble and remembering where you come from, like, and just keeping that to my heart as well. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I mean, when you won Q Talent Search back in 2013, I remember that moment because you know we did it on radio and you know you got your awards and you
Yeah.
got your cash prize and all of these things.
Yeah.
And I just remember, you know, telling you and I was saying that even offline that, oh my God, Kasim, your voice is going to change, you know, that is you have a really good voice, but it's going to change.
Yeah, I
I
was
mean,
yeah.
how did it feel becoming an adolescent or becoming a teenager and having your voice change? Like, what was going on? Were you scared? Like, because I know you really wanted to sing. Like,
Yes.
what was going on with you?
I think I think I was really scared at that point because everything around me was making me understand that, you know, it's going to be so different. I'm not going to have the ability to do it anymore. And that's what I perceived as, you know, the voice break, as we would say during puberty. And I noticed that, you know, my voice was taking a longer time to get deeper than a typical, like all of my other friends. And I was like, you know what? Maybe the golden spot. I maybe don't have that coming for me. You know, that kind of happened to me, you know? And then I sort of developed a strategy to almost practice singing more and more because, you know, vocal cords is a muscle and The more that you practice, the more that it remembers, like muscle memory. So I told myself, Carsim, just keep on practicing. Maybe that wouldn't happen to you. And then I think it didn't drop in the way that we see it marketed on TV, where guys' voices are like popping and squeaking. Mine was just almost like a buttery slope, where it was like, it was almost like a buttery slope, where I noticed that I didn't have access to the higher notes that I would have sang when I was younger with the Whitney Houstons and the Mariah Careys. But now it became more of a sweet, soulful Luther Vandross kind of vibe.
Sultry kind of a vibe. Yes.
And we noticed it, and I was like, you know what? It is a little bit saddening that I can't really, sing the big breadfruit notes like before, but I'm going to embrace the warmth and the grittiness that I think I'm going to develop in the future. And I think I'm making peace with that every day.
Oh, wow. And your voice, I mean, you've joined groups, so tell us a little bit about the groups that you've been part of, because people might see you on Canada's Got Talent, and they might think, sometimes when people say I'm from Dominica, they think that, okay, that person family probably from Dominica, or they probably, they came up to Canada when they were like a child.
Yes.
But it's not like that for you,
No.
So you became a lot of who you are as an individual while in Dominica.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about, all of the different things that you did in terms of singing, the groups that you were part of, and what that meant for you and how that helped you essentially.
Of course. So besides the competitive aspects of singing and, the DBS Song Contest and the QTS Under 16, I think it was only about until like my first year in college that I realized that there was Glee Club. And I think before college, I told myself, I might try out this Cicero Singers thing. I was like, maybe it's not for me. But I looked into it, and I was now eligible to be a member, and I joined. And I think my love for singing and collaborating sounds just became full circle for me in that moment. I think collaborating with people in the group like Jenny Jackson, who is a close friend of mine, Shanice, Marie Pascal, and Pearl Christian, who was so instrumental in, just allowing individuals to shine musically in their craft in Dominica. I think it really solidified for me my purpose and what I ultimately wanted to do, because I'd always dreamt of being on Broadway and seeing myself in outfits and the lights. I always imagined that for myself. And I felt that Cicero Singers was, the Caribbean version of that, where we evoked sensations of folkloric tales and Caribbean artistry with such an incredible purpose. And I felt that it was an avenue for me to shine. And it was definitely a stepping stone, because I took what I learned from Pearl Christian and the Cicero Singers as a stepping stone for me to know what is going to be expected of me when I go out on the stage, but also all of the preparatory things that I would have done in advance. And I felt once I fully immersed myself in that, there was no stopping me. It was just full on Carsim, and I've loved it every day. So big up to Cicero Singers, big up to Pearl Christian, big up to Marie Pascal.
Yes, big up to them. I know they're probably on watching. A lot of folks are coming on and really showing love to you. So Carsim, I know you bake also. Like, you almost forget that you bake.
I do, because I haven't
won competitions baking, my brother.
It's true. I haven't been doing it for quite a while, because I work from home, like in banking and insurance. So it's sort of taking a toll on my creative aspect in terms of like what I can do with my hands. But I do bake. I think I won like a Roberts baking competition with
You
like
did. You did.
Barbados, like for culinary competitions. Like, it was also like a good time as well. Yeah.
Wow. So guys, he's had a full life in Dominica. He's not, because sometimes people say, oh, who's that person claiming Dominica? Like, you are actually born, bred, raised in Dominica.
Yeah, I left 3 years ago.
Right. And I was gonna get to that. Like, so why did you leave? Like, what was the reason behind you leaving Dominica and deciding that you were going to settle in Canada? Because you could have gone anywhere in the world.
Yes. I think my decision to go to Canada was quite spontaneous. I think in the sense of me looking at university. So I traveled for the pursuit of education, furthering my education. And while in Dominica, I was basically just looking at universities that I think were aesthetic. I wasn't even really looking at, all of the programs. I was like, I need to go to a pretty school. And I think that was just on surface level, but but I further looked into like what the school's ethos, was, and what it really was going to give to me should I go to that school. And then I landed on UBC, which was all the way in Vancouver, all the way on the West Coast, and it was far away because my initial idea was going to New Zealand, and my mother was like, "Carsim, that's too far. That's too far." So I decided to go to Canada, and I chose UBC. And it was a bit of a hurdle getting to UBC because I was initially placed on the wait list. I wasn't initially accepted. And you know what? I said, I'm going to write to them. I was like, I was placed on the wait list, but I don't think, that should be. I am still immensely invested in attending this university. And I got accepted the next day. So I was very impressed. And to the people who know UBC is like second best university in like Canada.
Well, after CMU, get it there.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not gonna fight here, right?
Yeah.
No fighting.
Yeah.
But yes, I've had actually professors who also taught at UBC.
Yeah.
They have really good programs, especially like they were one of the first schools or universities to bring in like the Black narrative into their courses and stuff. So that is like really, really superb that you got in and that you were able to shine. Now, why did you decide?
Yeah.
Why did you decide that you were going to do Canada's Got Talent? Like, when did that decision come?
I think I always had it in my back pocket from a very young age. I always looked at videos of America's Got Talent and The Voice, and I was like, that person won. I can definitely do that too.
Remember, we had this conversation that you could win this. Like,
I was like, they won that. I can definitely do that. And I think it was just a matter of implementing when rather than how. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I was just saying to myself, Carsim, as soon as you get in Canada, get all of your fundamental stuff done. Get the academics out of the way. You have a job. Everything is smooth sailing. Now you have an opportunity to pursue something that is deeply passionate to yourself. And I did it at that point in time. It felt very rewarding and surreal in that moment because when I auditioned, I still have like recordings of my audition tape. I think even when I was speaking, everything came out of my mouth like butter. And I knew then that it was my time. And
wow.
I could feel it. I'm very like emotional and very sensitive to the energy that I have around me. And anytime that I speak and I can feel the emotions around me almost coming together as a force, I know that something is going to be bountiful out of that experience. And I felt that in my audition, and I knew from when I auditioned and they got back to me the next day, it was a go-getter.
Wow. I mean, take us through the process of the audition. Like, we want all the details.
Yeah, so I think generally for the audition, there is the website, you audition, like you send in your voice clips, you say a little bit about yourself, your background, while you're pursuing Canada's Got Talent. And I submitted that, and then I woke up to an email the next day and they were like, "Hi, Carsim, we would love to have you on Canada's Got Talent. This is the next following steps." And a couple weeks later, I saw myself auditioning on the stage in front of all of the judges, like Shania Twain, Howie Mandel. And it felt so surreal. Like it was, I don't even know, I can't say it was surreal, it was dreamy. It really was something that is inexplicable. I don't think there's any words right now to explain it, because even now that I think about it, it doesn't feel like it happened. I have to keep on telling myself, Carsim, it happened. And when I do feel it, I start crying.
But it happened since in October.
It happened in October.
Imagine,
yes,
since October, auditions happened.
Yes.
You got the golden buzzer in October.
In October.
And you had to hush your mouth.
Yeah.
Until now. First of all, I want to know, Joan, if you're on the live, big up to you one time. How did you break the news? Like, tell us how you told Joan was your mom.
Yes.
That you had auditioned for something and that you'd gotten the. First of all, I have a feeling that the Dominica, Canada might not cross in the sense of she probably didn't understand what the hell you were saying.
Yes.
Plus, she's an older person. So I'm like, she might not even get it. What was that like, telling your mom?
I think telling my mom my plans to go on Canada's Got Talent was, I think, expected. I think she always heard me as a child saying, "Mommy, I want to do that too. I want to." I always have a lot of dreams, and my mom used to always tell me when I was younger, "Carsim, you have too much on your plate, or your head." She would maybe tell me, "Carsim, your head too big." Like some of the dreams that I would tell her that I would have, they would be so grand and something that would not be typical for someone in my community to do and achieve. Sometimes she would think that it's unattainable, and I think her seeing me pursuing it was like, wow, Kasim is actually doing this. And I told her what it is. And I think it's only when I called her and I told her the results and how much of an impact and a reality it is that she really understood. I think on the day of the audition, I called her to tell her, Mom, I got the golden buzzer and I won 25,000, whatever. She was in Astafans at the time shopping. My mom loves Astafans. She went to shop.
By the way.
She went to shop at Astafans and she started shouting in the store. And for the people who know my mom is incredibly emotional. She calls me Shia, but she's more Shia than me. And she was basically shouting. I was like, Mom, relax, relax. Like, and I think she was like even telling somebody near to her, because when you have an overwhelming amount of news, you want to just tell the next person in front of you. I was like, Mom, let's not do that. We cannot disclose it as yet. And she was so overwhelmed, and it made me really happy because I know my mom has invested in me and poured into my cup for her entire life. And me attaining that dream is her living vicariously through me. And I love that for her. I really love that for her.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Joan. I know
Yeah.
she must be so excited, like watching you now, because who would
Yeah.
have thought, like, with Full Circle, we'll be back together like this?
Yeah.
How many years later, over
Yeah.
12 years later, and you are obviously doing something along the lines of singing and doing
Yeah.
so good at it, and your mom must be so proud. I can only
Yes.
and your aunt, because I know Gemma.
My auntie Gemma, wow. She My Auntie Gemma is a special character, I would say. And I love her. I think she's been beside me for the entire process. I've had a lot of people beside me. And I don't want to say too much because I get very emotional. I cry very quickly. The
Use
people,
a Shia, we know that.
the people who know me, I
Use a
cry
Shia.
very quickly. And I'm not ashamed of it. I've been made fun of because of how emotional I am, but I think it's my star power. I think I can relate to people very well, and I'm very personable. So I've had Auntie Jima by my side. I would tell her the news, and we would talk over the phone. And people like Janae Jackson, who was by my side through the entire audition process, also keeping it to herself and knowing the results. My Auntie Lynthia at DBS. It's so much love that's being flown onto me, and I cannot express enough gratitude because it is overwhelming and it is so full of fullness. I don't know how to explain it, but I want to say thank you to each and every one of them. Thank you so much.
Wow, of course, and I know they're all very proud of you, Kasim.
Yeah,
Like, every immigrant, or every parent who sends their child across to study, you always hope that they're going to
yeah,
excel academically, because people don't understand it's a huge investment. Some
yes,
people refinance their homes,
yeah,
some people take out loans, and have to be paying the loans even while you're gone. They have to be paying the interest on the
yeah,
loans. People do all these different things
yeah,
for their children, and it's not even because we want them to be elsewhere. It's more, we see the opportunities that
yeah,
are elsewhere,
yeah,
and you want them to have a fair shot. Like,
exactly.
if they decide to come back, they decide to come back,
Yeah,
but they have a fair shot. And I really want to commend your family for allowing you to have a fair shot,
yeah,
at exploring your dreams.
yeah,
I know this journey has been very difficult for you, and one of the things that I recall you speaking about openly is one of the things that really changed, or how it really changed your life. But you refer to your sexuality a lot.
yeah.
You talk about that and how you felt that being in Canada, you felt more in yourself. Can you explain to us what you mean by that? Like, what exactly are you speaking of?
Yeah, so I know that growing up in Dominica, a lot of things are very taboo. And it's not that it's taboo on like an every case basis. We almost choose and pick as Caribbean people the things that we want to place attention on, the things that we want to divert from. And I think I always knew that I was different. I knew that I was queer in Dominica, and I knew that what I was and who I was had a possible negative impact on how people were going to view me. And I had to tell myself that besides everything else, love supersedes. I had to tell myself love conquers anything. And I had to tell myself and remind myself the things that my mom always told me. Carsim, be yourself. And it's such a simplistic saying. And I think it has so much curvature and intricacy to just the two words.
Mhm.
And I had to think about it a lot and tell myself that when I go on the stage, I want to be authentically me. And that's why when I moved to Canada, it's not that I was being somebody different. It was just that I was being myself more apparently. And I think to the people who knew me back home in Cicero Singers, whichever groups that I participated in, they knew who I was. They knew how I acted. And I'm the same person. I felt like, no, there was a level of comfort. There wasn't someone leaning over me behind my shoulder, looking at the moves that I make. And I don't have to be anymore as much calculated as I was back home to think of the things that I do within society. I think right now it's just a matter of being myself as a queer person and enveloping myself in what truly matters. And that is being myself, embracing my culture, embracing the people who have come before me who may not have had the opportunity that I have now, and raising awareness for them in one of the largest platforms that I think there is in the world for talent and and for a Black person from the Caribbean.
Yes, yes. I love that for you, Kasim.
Yeah,
Like I
thanks.
really love that for you. But I don't just love it for you. I love it for all the other people who are looking, who feel or who felt exactly like how you did.
Yeah,
I know we've decriminalized things in our constitution. We've taken certain strides, to make things better for people who love differently, people who are queer, people who are part of the LGBTQ community. We've done these strides, but a lot of it is mostly on paper and
yeah,
not necessarily in how people react with each other, or refer to people. Like we hear negative connotations attached to people who are queer. You hear all of these different things,
yeah,
and queer people in Dominica, I do say they have like their community, and their community is very tight and strong. And I mean, I'm a full supporter of people loving and choosing to be themselves. I mean, y'all know that from time. Like I
yeah,
don't have to like. So I've actively participated, sponsored, encouraged, supported a lot of queer events put on by the LGBT community, the queer community. And I know it must have been very difficult for you, being yourself openly in Dominica. Because
yeah,
I know of people who are queer, and they moved away, and they're scared to come back because they think something's gonna happen to them. And
mm,
though it's never really, well, actually I cannot say it's never. To my knowledge, it's never gotten to that point, but everybody wants to feel, like they can live their life to their full, and to their fullest, and without feeling fair that somebody, like you say, is looking over their shoulder, to
yeah.
see what you do. So I really commend you on being your
Thank you.
authentic self,
Yeah,
and really showcasing your talent while being yourself. There's no reason why you should hide. There's no reason why you should not feel like you're loved, or people can love you any differently, because people are gonna love you. Like I say, they're gonna love you whether they want to love you, and if they don't want to love you, they're gonna move on. That's it,
yeah.
right? That's it.
Thank you.
So Kasim, kudos to you for doing this, and I think a lot of people will learn from you. I mean, you're on a platform now where you're not just speaking for yourself, or you're not just representing yourself. You're
Yeah,
also representing Dominica, because
yes,
that was the first thing that came out of your mouth. It
yes.
was, I'm from Dominica.
Yes,
And
I was actually so upset because during my audition, I told my nephew, like, bring the flag, please, bring the flag. And I was like, I could just feel something spectacular was going to happen from the day of the audition. And I was like, can you please
the
bring the
boy
flag?
don't really flag.
I need to bring the flag. But it's okay. I love him, still my nephew. And, but we'll go on from there. I was so nervous, Jay. I can't even tell the people who are watching. I was so nervous. I had a full on like panic attack when I was flying to Toronto. Like I was crying, not because I was scared. It was just an experience where I was feeling like this is actually happening. This is a dream that's actually happening. And I have people by my side who love me and support me. It's what I've always wanted. And realizing that I got it was life changing. Honestly, yeah.
That is simply amazing.
Thank you.
I want to find out a little bit about the backstage and what was going on. Like tell us a little bit about what it was like to be backstage with all of these performers. Some I'm sure are amazing and some not so amazing. But what was it like, being backstage with all of these talented individuals?
Yeah, I think being backstage with all of those talented people really allowed me to see that we're all in pursuit of some dream. No matter what it could be singing, it could be acting, it could be comedy. We all have something within us that's allowing us to continue going for a long time. And I think those are dreams, those are wishes, those are wants. And I think seeing such diversity backstage was one of the things that I loved the most. I think I didn't only see just singers and opera singers. I saw people who were backstage with a broom and a mop. I saw people who were dressed in comedic outfits, and their purpose in doing their talent was to allow people to feel loved. And I think that's what artistry is about. And I can say for you, when you're doing your lives as well, I'm sure that what you're doing brings you fulfillment, but I'm sure you're trying to put that into the lives of other people as well by viewing this interview as well. So
Yes.
stage, it was incredible, the lighting. And there were moments where I was crying a lot. When I took out the picture, when I saw the picture that they posted of me, I was like, oh my God, my eyes are not even visible. Because I was crying so much within the pre-interviews and everything before I actually got on stage. That's why my voice was kind of shaky. If I were to give myself a real vocalist critique, my voice was kind of shaky in some areas because I was crying for hours
Towards
before.
the end, you just broke down towards the
I
end.
just I was
You
like,
just
you know
broke
what?
down.
I sang a verse and a chorus. It's okay. I can cry. you know?
Why did you choose that song? Like, how did you go about choosing this song that you were like? What inspired this song?
I think I had a lot of song selection back and forths. I think with the producers, one of the things that is instrumental in um, live shows is getting clearance. So I knew that when I was going to audition, I wanted something that's a ballad. I wanted something that's smooth and sultry and something that could showcase my voice in the best way possible. And after I had done that, I decided to do something that related to my story. Because I think we are not artists if we don't have story to carry the book, And I think that's one of the things, that's one of the reasons why I chose Lay Me Down by Sam Smith. It is slow. I'm able to have rise and peaks to really make the people who are viewing me feel the emotions that I'm trying to bring through the lyrics. And as Sam Smith, as well as a queer artist, I felt almost in his shoes because I remember like when I was in Dominica, everyone was like, "Oh my God, Carsim, you sound like Sam Smith," and I realized that I was doing a Sam Smith for my audition, and I was like, "Wow, there are things that have been put in place for me beforehand that I am not privy to, and I'm seeing it unveil before me." And it felt full circle. It felt unreal. And when I noticed that, I was singing that song, I was like, Kasim, the only thing you have to think about is your emotions, what the song means to you, what it's going to do to people. And then once you've had all of those boxes ticked, you will have a successful audition.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez, we got people on the live. Sing for us, Kasim. Sing for us. They want a song. They want this. They want this song.
I
I don't know
expected
if
that.
Kasim can sing for y'all. Can Kasim sing for y'all? Maybe, right? Maybe. We're not sure. We're not sure. There are lots of restrictions, guys. Like we're not sure if he can sing.
I think I could sing like a song
I'm
that
just,
I yeah.
I'm just playing with them. I'm playing with people right about now. But I really must say, watching you on stage, like it felt like I was watching you in person. Like you were it was just you You know, like you were in your full element. I was waiting for those high notes, let me tell you, because I know you can kill it. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, yes. And when you did it, I was like, yes. I was like, oh my God. Imagine the person recording it. They had to do their best to keep themselves quiet.
As
You
I've
know,
seen with other recordings, yes.
yeah. So it was just an amazing performance. And what would you say would probably was your biggest challenge, leading up to your performance? You
I
had
think
any doubts or anything? Like,
I think I can even sense I'm going to cry already. I think I think my biggest challenge was not having my mom there. I think doing for the people who have seen me at QTS, they've s- they've
you're not gonna make
seen
me cry, Cassie.
they've seen my mom in the crowd
Your biggest
shouting,
fan.
and my biggest fan. So knowing that she wasn't there, it was almost as if it was dedicated to her, just as if I was singing to her in the crowd. And knowing she wasn't there made me want to go even harder to what I was doing. And it was very difficult in the end because that's why I realized after I noticed the reaction from everybody, I noticed that it was something that she wasn't there to witness in person. And I know I can never change that, but I think it was one of the things that really was in the back of my mind. And I just told myself, she's in the crowd with you. Everything that she has done for you in the past is to be there with you emotionally. And I think when I did the audition, I think that was one of the things that was so instrumental in my emotion because I knew that she wasn't there and it was a dedication to her. And I'm just hoping in the future that she can come up and have an ability to view me and sing in person to her. Yeah.
Wow, Kasim.
Sorry.
What a way to bring on the waterworks. We did speak about that before. And I was like, Kasim, please do not make me cry.
I know.
You're not gonna ruin my makeup. You definitely love your mom and your mom loves you. And I remember, QTS, she being there. Like, there's absolutely no doubt that your mother loves you. Ooh.
All I can say is thank you.
Yeah, your mom, your family really loves you. Your grandmother, I remember her, like
Yeah.
they ride hard for Kasim.
Yeah.
And I know she's super proud. I hope she's watching this. I hope she's super proud. I know she's super proud
I know.
because she kind of like guided you to this.
Yes. And
She
I felt to myself like it was an aspect where I know that my mom gave up a lot of dreams of her own so that I could not have mine. And I just told myself, I cannot not go 100%. I had to go 100% because there are people who wish they had the opportunity. I now have the opportunity and I need to represent in a way that is symbolic to all of the efforts that have been poured into me. And I'm so happy I could showcase that. I'm so happy I could live to see the moment and see that on camera. And I think that's my win. That's my win already.
You
Yeah.
had your brother, your partner, your friend, your
Yeah.
nephew with you. How was that? Because does your brother live in close proximity to you? Like, how was that
No, my brother
getting
is actually,
everybody together?
yeah. So most of my partner and my friend were in Vancouver, and my brother and my nephew they're in London, Ontario. So they're like 4 hour flights
How was
away.
it? Mhm.
So thankfully, it was filmed in Niagara, and so I had to travel to Niagara, and then I met up with my brother, and then we basically just had I love planning. Yeah, I'm a trip planner. I am very calculated when it comes to those things. So I had everybody on deck, as the Haitians say. I had everything organized, and then we just collaborated and met up where we needed to do the filming. And I didn't see them for almost the entire day of the filming. I filmed from like 7 a.m., maybe like 6 until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And it was a much longer process, but the organization and the planning, everything was pretty smooth. It was just a matter of executing it.
You mentioned, I believe you mentioned that you'd not seen your brother in a long time as well.
Yes.
What was that like for you? Like
it was so much for me. I think I hold my brother very closely to my heart as I do my mom, because I remember my brother being an uprising cricketer and him mentioning to me that he would take me on the stroller, to his games. And, it just reminded me that people are looking out for you and protecting you even when you don't know it. And I just told myself that if anybody was going to be there and be happy to see me shine, I'm happy that my brother was there in the absence of my mom. And it was very heartwarming. I saw my nephew as well for quite a bit. And it was just really warm. And that's really all I can say. It was just genuine. And when you love people, when you meet up with them, it could be 10 years, 15 years. When you click and you meet again, it would be as if you guys have never left each other. And that's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about Cardi's reaction. So listen, like I partied around Cardi, okay? So I know his energy and stuff. And I mean, just hearing him, first of all, Shania Twain is like,
Yes.
it's like Canada's dream, right?
Yes.
At Shania Twain, you have Howie Mandel, you had what's the other lady's name?
Catherine. Yeah.
And then you had Cardi.
Yes.
And Cardi is like I sense he was gonna say something. What was like in that moment? He connected with you, and one of the things he said is that I said, because everybody has one golden buzzer,
Yeah.
right? They can only give it to one person.
Yeah.
And very early in the game, it was you.
Yeah.
It was you.
Yes. So I don't know. I don't know how much I can discuss about this, but I know once we did the filming, filming is done like on different days. I know that I remember myself filming on the last day, and I was so emotional because I was like, "Oh my God, all of the great persons maybe have taken all the golden buzzers already, and it's little poppy to me. I come on Dominica, I'm trying to sing a song. Let me see what I can do." And when it was revealed that I got it, I was like, oh my God. It was incredible.
Wow, this is so amazing. I mean, we're so happy for you, Carsim. I want to go to the audience because there's quite a few people who are coming on who are sharing love, who are saying congratulations, who want to wish you well. Everybody want to have their piece. Everybody want to say something, right? So we definitely have to give people the opportunity for them to say what they need to say. Yeah. So we have a few folks, and I just want to see, I'm going to look for your aunt because I know she was there somewhere in the comments, commenting and stuff, because I kept glancing back and forth. But a lot of people like Mikael Henderson has been sending, real congratulations to you. So Sandra Norris said, I'm so happy when I heard I'm from the Caribbean island called Dominica. My heart just jumped. That's one person who's saying that. Here they saying, congratulations, Carsim. As a student, you always love singing. Dreams do come true. Keep reaching the sky, for the sky. So that's one other comment. I want to try and pull as many comments. Your auntie is on. I had to pull that up. I love you, Carsim, as my own, in tears again. You are destined for greatness. We are there to support you. You are so well spoken. Yes, you are, Carsim. You are well spoken too.
Thank you.
You are so well spoken. I have to agree with her on that. Micah is saying, always watching America's Got Talent and seeing you reaching so close to this level right now. Super proud of you, fam. So that's someone that's sending you. Your auntie are looking for, like I saw her. So Mikael is saying, we met in Astafans, remember? When she said, Mikael, this is my son and he can sing. I could have seen you, John. Wonderful. Let's see. I'm trying to get as many comments as possible because so many people want to share. Let me your auntie are looking for, Gemma, where you? I'm looking for you, Gemma. I want to make sure I bring that. Okay, so I am not surprised. I know you have that natural God-given talent. The sad thing is the country never exposed you. Great things are on the horizon for you. Dominica have talent. We yes,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I should have said that in my Dominica accent. Dominica
Yeah.
have talent. We yes. um. So people are asking about the next show. We'll get to that in a little bit. We'll see what he can tell us because there's a lot of rules and regulations when it
Yeah.
comes to these shows. What you can like producing a show of that magnitude, what you can say, what you. As a matter of fact, I'm so honored that they agreed for me to interview you in such a short space of
Yeah.
time, even
Yeah.
before you do any national interviews that you
Yeah.
were able to do this interview.
Yeah.
That is it's a huge deal for me. It's a big deal because
Yeah.
these shows they are very strict on what they can do because at the end of the day a huge part of it is marketing their is the brand and ensuring that they
Exactly.
maintain the brand and ensure that there's transparency,
Yeah.
as well as protecting the artists. There's contracts and what you
Exactly.
can
Yeah.
say, what you cannot
Yeah.
say, and
Yeah.
all of these things. So I know and I understand, which is why I did not ask you any question. I was like, I ask you, I didn't ask you when did you do it. We talk, and I was like, I ask you no question because
Yeah.
I did not want you to spill anything to me
Yeah.
that you could, because you might feel like, okay, I can tell JL, and I mean,
Yeah.
of course you could tell JL, but at the same time I didn't want you to compromise yourself.
Yeah. I get it.
So I truly so let me see. Regina Wall, she's saying I saw Carsim at both local shows where he won. Yes, Regina was in the audience when you won Q Talent Search. I always thought where he get that voice, sweet and melodic, is what the Sister Singers Massive is following. Sister Singers are there. They're watching you and thank you very much, Fran. Fran was the one who recorded the video for me and sent it to me. Oh my God. And then she said, no puppy tea here. You rock. Canada loves you.
Thank you so much.
And I'm so excited. When she sent it to me, I was just like, yes, thank you. And stuff. Aldi saying, Kasim, you are such an inspiration. Keep shining. You know, um,
Thank you, Ada.
Glenda is saying the feeling you get when you hear your country name being called and the icing on the cake was that golden buzzer. Congratulations, Kasim. I think a lot of here's Gemma. Gemma. Lord, I'm auntie of a celebrity. Gemma, that's the one you have to say. Gemma is beaming. I know she's beaming
Yeah.
from ear to ear. Marsha, aka Stasha, is also there. Give my love to him, please. He knows how much I jaloux him and his voice and his personality, both then and now. I adore your humility always, Carsim Birmingham.
Thank
That's
you.
Stasha sending you some love. Don't cry there.
I know.
But there's no cry there. So Shani saying, Gemma, I can imagine all your teeth outside your chest right now. I know you both stand. Oh my God. And it's so true. Teresa is saying he has a God-given talent. I'm happy he got the opportunity to show the world what he can do. And Kasim, I mean, we say this and we say this very lightly because, we say, oh, Dominica is small and we say all of these things. But like I've seen so many talented people in
Yeah.
Dominica. I've been able to identify so many talented people. I have almost felt burdened by people's talent because I'm like, oh my God, there's so much more that they can do
I get you.
with the kinds of voices that they have,
Yeah.
and like you got this opportunity. It's a once in a lifetime
Yeah.
opportunity. Like people will beg, borrow, steal, kill for that kind of opportunity that you've gotten because there are a lot of people who love music just as much as you do, who want
Yeah.
guys who wants to become a star, just like you always wanted and always envisioned for your life. And that is nowhere near in the horizon for them,
Yeah.
right? And you have the ultimate experience. You're first of all, you're in a land of opportunities
Yeah.
where there's no sky. Like there's something beyond, even beyond the sky, you know. You're in a land where you can really pursue your dreams. You can end up on Broadway, you can end up with a recording
Yeah.
deal, you
Yeah.
can end up with $1 million. Like,
Yes.
how does it feel even thinking that you could win $1 million?
I think it feels correct. I've thought about it. I have thought about it for a long time. I think there are some. I dream a lot. For the people who are very close to me, I dream a lot. Like I have a lot of lucid dreams. And before my audition, saw like I could touch like glitter in my dreams, and I was like telling my brother and my friends like I can sense something is going to happen, and now it's just a matter of me seeing the ending feeling of the finale approaching, and I'm just hoping that when it gets to that point, my dreams also come to that reality as well. But it's
Wow.
tremendous.
So tell me, are you completely done taping?
So there is another round, which is the
Mhm.
next round that I went straight to. I think it's going to be aired, I think maybe in May. And then I think we have just one more session to tape, which is going to be the finale. Yeah,
Wow.
hopefully. Yeah.
Wow.
We'll see how that
Wow.
goes.
Fingers and toes crossed. We can't say much.
We
That's
can't say
all we can say, okay, guys. That is it. I'm
yeah.
not going to let him mess up himself. Next thing, he becomes like Trilogy and he cannot perform in Trinidad. We're not doing this, okay? This is not the place.
Yeah.
I am wishing you. I know people are like on the live and really showing love to you. I mean, we're so excited for you, Kasim. I
Thank
feel like I
you.
want to do a little play my little rapid fire questions with you. Um, like we can, you can't come on the show and we don't do this. We gotta do this, right? So I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. So this is like people's last opportunity, the final opportunity. This is the world's final opportunity to hear all about you, what you like, what you don't love, but you got to tell it to us without thinking. So no
Okay.
thoughts. You just, the first thing that comes to mind, you just say it. All
Okay.
right? You
Yeah.
ready? What's the last song you sung in the shower? What's the last song you sang in the shower?
That one I cannot say. But I will say Run to You, Whitney Houston.
You lying. You too lie. You too lie. If you weren't a singer, what would you be doing?
I think if I weren't a singer, I would be a pastry chef, or I would definitely be somebody who's doing cooking videos, like the Black Martha Stewart or something like that. Like so that kind of vibe.
Mm.
Yeah.
What's one thing people would be surprised to learn about you?
I am a good dancer, I think.
You
I
think?
think, yeah.
You hope?
I think they would. No, I think that they would be surprised. I know I'm a good dancer.
Okay. What's your guilty pleasure song?
Ooh, a guilty pleasure song. I think it would be like Luther Vandross, Never Too Much. Like, I can't feel myself, I don't want nobody else to ever love me. You are my shining star, my guiding light, my love fantasy.
Ooh, oh my love.
Love. Yeah.
Okay, Norin, Jael
No,
or challenge Norin. No, let's leave that alone. Baking or singing?
singing.
If you could swap lives with any artist for a day, who would it be?
I don't think I'd want to have that pleasure. I think I've grown so comfortable in myself. I don't want to. But I think if I had to choose one, oh, that's really hard. Way. That's really hard.
Dominica, come on, that's really hard.
That's really hard. Like there are so many people that I think are so. Maybe Diana Ross. 'Cause she's so
Really?
good. Or Patti LaBelle, like somebody who's like grand and like
Mm.
yes, yeah.
What is the weirdest or funniest thing that has happened to you on stage?
I think one of the funniest thing I think is having Malvert before you go on stage. Like
Let me tell you, I was talking about you must have seen my post. I talked about a Malvert like 2 days ago.
I think that would be it because I think once you have your nails and everything, it's just a matter of oh my
You can just
god, I
hear
can't go
the
back.
Malvert coming through the mic.
Yeah.
OMG, that's hilarious. One word to describe your music style.
Sultry. I think I was.
Favorite place in Dominica to relax.
Ooh, I would say Emerald Pool.
Mm.
Oh,
Favorite Dominican dish that you miss.
Bonje. Ooh, that one is a hard one. I will have to say my grandmother's sancoch. That sancoch is the best sancoch I think there ever is. Don't even question it.
What she does differently? What does she put in it?
I don't think she puts anything into it. I think it's the love. I think when you've been doing something so good for so long, there is nothing that can be contested. Like,
Mm.
yeah,
She have
yeah.
a special something.
Yes, because my mom has even told me, boy, I don't know what my mother put in the sandwich. I just cannot do it. And my mom is a great cook. Some things that my grandma makes, and my mom is like, wow. Yeah.
And finally, who was the first person you called after your big performance?
After my big performance, I called my mom. First
Wow.
person, live and direct. It was my mom. Yeah.
Wow.
Grandma. Yeah.
It was so wonderful getting to know you again, Carsim.
Thank
I want to
you
give
so much.
you a moment, to talk to your fans because you have a lot of fans, and I know like some of us will not be able to see the event like when it airs live, because obviously it airs in Canadian networks on
Yeah.
a Canadian network, so that would be problematic for some of us.
Yeah.
But if we could vote, I think probably I might even turn on my Canadian phone if there was a voting aspect to it, like because American Idol, you vote, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, I would turn on and tell everybody, yeah, you're gonna have to pay the bills, but we voting, right? Because there was a voting aspect when you did on the 16, remember?
Yes,
Yeah,
there was.
on the 16.
Yeah.
So I really want to give you an opportunity to shout out people who are cheering you on, people who are loving on you, people who are supporting you.
Yeah.
I want to give you that opportunity. So the floor is
Thank
yours.
you. Thank you. I've had so much thought about how I would maybe say it, and I think it's unscripted in a way, but I would like to say thank you to my mom. Thank you, Mommy Joan, for everything that you've poured into me, for the support that you've given to me. It is something that I can never forget. Thank you so much. To people like my Auntie Gemma, my grandmother, for making me use your Nokia phone to call in to QTS. Thank you. That moment was a stepping stone for a lot to come. Thank you to my aunt Lifia. Thank you to Janae, my love, my heart. Thank you so much for being there through the calls while I'm at work, helping me to practice with my song choices. Thank you so much to Shadis Langford, to Cicero Singers, to Paul Christian, to everyone who has been instrumental during the process in messaging me and letting me know. I love you so much. To my cousins, Kayla and LaShawn, I love you guys so much. Everybody from the Sufria Massive, thank you so much. I am overwhelmed and so full of love, and I cannot explain to you how much it means to me. And I'm hoping that in the future, I have something to come back to and say, this is what I would give to you guys. Thank you so much.
Wow. Wow, this is beautiful.
Thank
Kasim,
you.
all the best. We're gonna be supporting you.
Thank
We're
you.
gonna be there really riding for you, and excited for you, and looking forward to see all of the amazing things that you're gonna accomplish. And God forbid if you don't win, God forbid. We know because God doesn't close one door
Yeah.
and he opens up another,
Yeah.
right? So we know that there's always going to be something big for you.
Yes.
You are destined to be a superstar, and from the time you were a little man, you're destined to be a superstar, and we look forward to seeing your superstar rise all the way to the top.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Don't cry, Kasim. Bye bye, Kasim.
Bye. Thank you, everybody. Bye bye.
That's it, guys. That's it for today. I want to say thank you very much to the entire team at College. Um, you, Erin, and it's Bridget, and allowing this interview to happen because, you know, there's a lot of restrictions, and they could easily simply say, you know what, it ain't gonna happen, and they did it. It just shows to me how important Carsim's journey is, not just to the CGT family, but Canada on a whole. That's how Canadians, really would like to showcase the fact that it's a multicultural community, and that he can connect back to his Dominican roots, and be the first place when he does his really big interview. So I want to say thank you very much to them for allowing this. And I want to say thank you very much to my sponsors, the National Cooperative Credit Union. And thank you to Astafans. That's where Carsim called his mom. That's where she like Astafan. Astafans need to put on a billboard. You know, Astafans. Right place, right price, eh? So I want to say thank you very much to Astafans. And also, I mean, everything's so designed strangely, like how things happen. And Astafans is a sponsor, and Carsim's on the show, right? And that wasn't planned. It just happened. And I also want to say, thank you very much to all of you who tuned in, those of you who came on during the live, those of you who shared the live. I want to encourage you, if you are looking at the live, please ensure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. A lot of my shows will be moving across there because, Facebook has changed their rules and how long interviews or lives stay on the platform. So we literally have only 30 days, for your live on the platform. So a lot of my shows will be carried. Well, they continue to be carried on YouTube, and you can also view this show on YouTube. So you can go back after if you missed out half of it. You can go back and watch it, and you can watch it 1,000,001 times. I want to say thank you very much to Gemma. Gemma, my doodoo. Gemma, I love Gemma. Gemma is such a doll. For making each other and stay in touch with Cassie. Gemma, that is Gemma. Gemma's the plug, right? Gemma says she's the auntie to a celebrity. All right, get it right, okay? And thank you to Carsim, for being always so gracious and so sweet and so loving. He's like, he was this little teddy bear when he was young, and he's going to be a big teddy bear, and always so sweet and so respectful and such a courteous young man. And I'm so proud of what he's doing and how he's, I think, Carsim, you wanted to sing for them, right? You want to come back and sing for them? Huh? I know you're still there. You want to come back? Put your thumb up if you want to come back. Because you want to come back and sing for you. So we're giving you an elastic or something that we didn't give you. Let's bring it back. Carsim, sing. The people want you to sing for them. They'll be vexed with me. They'll crucify me.
Can I lay by your side next to you, and make sure you're all right? I'll take care of you, and I don't want to be here if I can't be with you tonight.
Okay, he's gone now. Bye, Cassie. Guys, that's it. That's a wrap up for today. Thank you very much to those of you. Actually, not for today, because we have another show coming up at 7, I believe 7:30. We have another show. Those of you, what they say about Marvel movies: do not leave until the end. Right? I must do some more of those surprises like that on my show. Thanks again, Carsim, for joining us, and thank you, all of you who came on, who shared the live, who shared the love. I appreciate you. I love you more. And have yourself a great evening. I'll be seeing you. I'll be checking in with you. I've got Anthony of Shop DM. Anthony Edwards is going to be joining me. Anthony Edwards is doing such amazing things. So he's going to be joining me later on this evening. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you follow, subscribe, wherever you can. And we will meet pretty soon. All right. Have a good night, y'all. And take care. Bye-bye.
NCCU, your community financial partner, brings to you Beyond the Mortgage.
Affordable rates, affordable price. NCCU, everything nice. Go do a course, go take a trip. Beyond the Mortgage 246. You take the mortgage already. Don't make your pocket go empty. Beyond the mortgage, you see you will keep you steady. You need to buy a new fridge. You want to purchase a settee. Get rid of medical bills and invest in the green energy. Beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage. Everything nice. Beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage, beyond the mortgage. And see you for life. 246, yes, 246. Wow, 246.
Beyond the mortgage, 2% savings, 4% retirement solutions, loans available at 6%, and our special BTM line of credit. Terms and conditions apply.